upgrade.
It's a little messed up in front. Besides that, it's solid. It's pretty good.
It's good, bro. It's good.
It's good.
What's the job?
Yeah. So here's where you want to have it mounted on like this, and this right here is going to be where it's the I think it's the coolant return goes down here. I'm not too sure, but either way, I'll have it routed. The bottom hose will go down there. The top hose that we took off from the top of the heat exchanger will go up here. Also, on the side right here, as you can see, on the side you have different mounting points, so you can take this off and put it either closer or further away. Sometimes what happens is the heat exchanger, when it vibrates like that, when the car is on, this might actually hit the radiator and the condensator. So what you're gonna have to do is you might either have to cut that or move this up. So depending on your application, you're just gonna do a lot of trial and error. But let's go get this marked and started on this car. Let's go. Alright, first thing you gotta do is take off the oil bottom pan, the belly pan, whatever it's called, and gotta edit it out. It's a bunch of T25 screws and a bunch of quarter turn screws that are just in the bottom of the belly pan. And then on the sides, you have two T25s down here. I don't know if you'll see it. I'm gonna switch to the GoPro, but you have two T25s down here that you're able to pull out and pull this out. And then you have to come up here and take off this as well. Alright, so in order to get those off, what I do is I put a flathead on the bottom, put it up, and it comes right out. Alright, another thing you want to do too is take off these up here. They're two T25 screws on this side. I think originally they're T27s, but we put T25s. Take these two out. And then you're also going to have two 10mm screws right here. So, just an orientation, this right here, this way is the front of the car, that's the back of the car. This is on the right side, so the same thing on the left side too, it's just a little harder to get to. That right there is a 10mm you need to get to, so there's one right there, as you can see, there's one above that. I think that's on the S5 platform, there's two, but on the S4 there's only one, so what you're doing the S5 or the S4, just take off both of these, and then you take off the both on the other side, and then you're going to be able to pull your bumper out. Also, don't forget to take off those T27s right there, you see there's one right there on top. I'm pointing right there. There's excuse me, T25s, and there's another one down here. Don't forget those. On the S4, as you can see right here, this is only has one 10mm bolt. That's right there. That's on the S5s. It has two 10mm bolts, so I'll put them right there, side by side comparison. This one has one. The S5s have two. So just keep that in mind. If you do an S5, it might have two. I'm not sure about A6s or A7s. They could also have two. It really just depends, but just keep in mind if you see more than one 10mm bolt, you probably have to take that off because it attaches onto the radiator support, I think. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so on this car you're going to want to take out those two bars. You don't want to take out the crash bar too, those two are 14mm. And then, so depending on your type of car, you might have this, which is a headlight washer. So you want to take off this right here, pull that up. And there's another one on this side too, which I'm out the way. And pull that one up as well. Also, what I recommend doing is you're gonna have to take this off right here. So you're gonna have to take this off. You just pull back. So you, let's see, you pull up and then out, and it comes out. Take a hose clamp, clamp this off, or clamp it off right here so the windshield wiper fluid doesn't spill everywhere. I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so right here you want to do is one of these hose clamps down. So let's go this out right here. Grab one of these hose clamps, and then right there, right above this, grab this like there, and just put it down a little bit so it clamps off. Pull this down, and then just like that, it comes off, so this won't spill any water out there. And this is loose now, so you'll be fine. You can just take the whole thing off. All right, once you've taken this off, I'm taking the 14mm off, this right here. You also take that off, just push it in. So you take a flathead or something, you push it right there. Okay, throw in the flathead right there. Push it in the middle. All right, you take a flathead, push it in the middle, and it just pops right off. And then you can push it up with the flathead. Like that. Yep, there you go. There you go, just like that. Now you're good. To take this off, just hit it with a rubber mallet. Might have to hit it up, down, put a crowbar, pry bar, get that thing loose. Hey, take off the light, the clips inside for the horn. Just like that, take it off. Also, I forgot, make sure to take off the
horns, bro. If you don't take off the horns, bro, it's wraps, bro.
Take off the horns on the sides. Also, a side note, you can pull this out on the side and just pull the way out. It doesn't matter if this gets on your driveway, it's just water with the side. So right here in the front is the heat exchanger, the stock one. There is a T30 bolt. So in order to save some coolant, what you can do, and not to make a huge mess, is you can actually clamp these down that way, so you won't have too much coolant go off, and you can have the reservoir filled up. So just clamp these like this. If you don't have clamps, I recommend going and getting some, and then take these off right here. These are just hose clamp pliers. Have this next to here, so when you take this off, all this drains down the bottom nice and quickly. Big pressure over here. Pressure's relieved. So just get these two clamped on like so, and then take these these tools, which is a hose clamp plier. Let's see, this way. Try to get it on like so. Take that off. Move these back. Pull this out, and there's not going to be a ton of coolant on there. Ooh, I think it's on there tough. Tough for that, but I'm going to take a flathead and start moving this down. There we go. There's going to be a ton of coolant dropping. So, just like that on the bottom part, top part too, just take this, get on there. Alright, this one's a little tough to get out, so I recommend doing is just have a clamp on there and just get the hose out from under the clamp, which you might be able to do like that. Just like that. Take that off like so. So there's a T30 in the middle of this.
T30?
You gotta take off. From the stock heater exchanger. Alright, like I said before, this T30 out the way. Just kind of hard to get to, that's why you use a 1/4 inch. But you should be able to get it. Also, once you have your hands with a lot of coolant, you want to change your gloves out. So that you don't contaminate other surfaces. You won't be needing that bolt again. Down here, put that like that.
What's the hardest part? Is the hardest part on putting the pulley in?
Nah, that's the easiest. Just like that, take that off right here from the top. Put the flathead in like so, move it to the left. And gotta be careful with it. Start taking it off. So once you start taking it off like that, the side is gonna be a little, that's when it's pulled out. Just let it drain for a little bit. And then, that's how you take out the stock heater exchanger. You don't need the T30 bolt. Just let this drain, and then of course recycle it or give it to whoever needs it. Alright, cool. Yeah, like I said before, you see how that's pretty close to that, so we had to cut it down. You might have to do that on here as well. You might have to cut this down or even move this up one so that this won't jab into the radiator and then I think it's the condensator up there in the front. Yeah, so you probably are gonna have to do that. So just keep that in mind. If you do move it forward, you might have to trim some off right here. And it's better to trim it off while you have it off of the car. It's a lot easier just to get a clean cut right here than doing it on there, because we had to take this off, and yeah, it was just a pain in the butt. But besides that, for the most part, you're gonna want to have the heat exchanger on kind of mid-level, a little higher, so in case you hit anything, it doesn't hit the heater exchanger, but around right here, and you should be fine. Alright, so right here what we're going to do is we're actually cut this off and shave it off right here. because at this preset, this part will actually hit the condensator in the radiator. So when it turns on, the car's vibrating. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it on here, cut this down to size. We only need to cut a little bit, like right there. Sorry if it's not a straight line, but we need to cut like that, and then cut it on both sides, and then actually mount it onto the crash bar. So you can either do this, depending on your heater exchanger, it might be a little different. So, but we're just doing this to avoid hitting the condensator. Alright.
As you guys see, we shaved off the sides and now we're filing down.
Yeah, you want to file it down because you don't want to have any sharp edges around the area. Also, you see like the paint's peeling back. This is aluminum, so it won't rust. So you can either paint this with some black paint if you want, take some paint marker or some touch-up paint and try to mask it off and just do that. Make sure not to get any paint on this side unless it's radiator paint. But if you really care about the aesthetic of it, which no one's really going to be seeing that and it's not going to rust because it's aluminum, you could touch this up with some paint, which is what we're going to do. Also, make sure the caps are on these still and blow this out with an air compressor or some compressed air, so that way that no air gets in the area. That's if you do this step. The step's also optional. So after you're done making the holes on this side and shaving it down, what you want to do is measure out the heat exchanger. Different manufacturers like PLM and APR and Merck Racing might have different sizes, but this one for the most part was 23 inches. And what we did is we measured these 2 points right here. We're about like 23 inches, a little over, and then marked a hole at 1 inch and 3 inches, which is where this right here would be on the heat exchanger. What you want to do too is drill it from this side where it's nice and flat, so you can get a hole straight down right through the middle, and that way you're able to mount this on there. After, so what happens is we had to cut these bolts down to size. You might have to do that, so we have some footage of that as well. You got to kind of cut the bolts down to size and see how it fits. Alright, so what you need to do is take the bottom of the nut and try to just get it on there so it screws. And once it starts screwing, take a ratchet on this side, on the outside right here, and just start turning it, tying it, loosening. This is a little tedious, but how you get your bolts on. Let's get on there so it's tight, but not too tight. And then first thing we want to do is we want to get them all on all four, so you can actually fit it on there. All right, so the next thing after you got this mounted on there like so, what you want to do is you want to try to put it back onto that, which is going to take some effort. Try to get that side on first, and then come over here and work on this side. So this side, you can see how it's adjustable. You can actually move it back and forth. So just get on the left side first, recommend, and get on this side.
Full force it or use the rubber mallet. All lined up.
Low key, not really.
On this side, on this side. Beautiful. That one,
Good to go.
that one's right here.
Hold everything up.
Now let's check this out right here. So you see right there, if this wasn't cut, this would actually hit while the car's turning on and it's like that. So you want to cut that down into place. Also, you probably should put the bolts in first and then put in, which I'll get out, and then put in your windshield wiper on the side, or just kind of sneak it in through. All right, now you just gotta tighten the bolts back on to the Rhino mount right here. Alright, next thing you want to do right here after you get this done is try to take a measurement. So your hose is supposed to go like this, down, and this right here is the one you're going to be putting it on the top one, which is this one right here. So route the hose down to, I guess, where it's close. So I guess right here would be a good cut. Just mark that right there. Right there would be a cut. And then what we're going to do is take an L-shaped hose fitting, put it in this way, and have it in right there, and put some hose clamps on it so it's tight. Alright, as you see right here, we're just putting this L fitting on so that this right here, this top one, will fit onto that. And you can actually you can use the OEM hose clamp on this side, but just use one of these on this side. So just get this clamped up right here on there pretty well, so that no leaks. Yeah, watch out for the light. So put this in there like so. Put that up. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Good job. So you want to get kind of above the. So the nipple's like right there. You want to get it above that. As much as you can. that should be good. And then push down there. That's right there, so it should be good right here. I should have flipped this around the other way, but make sure it's on tight, not too tight where it's too stripped down here. And then down here, right here, we're gonna put the OEM clamp right there. So, the OEM clamp back in here, like that. Remember, top one goes for the L shape, for the top one. This bottom one goes to this one right here. So, all right, so just get it in there to the point where it's like, you know, right there. And take this hose clamp, reclamp it like so. Let's turn this around. All right, so what we do is put this fitting inside like so on this side. And then what we want to do too is, so Kevin, come over here. Let's get this flap out the way. So if this flap wasn't here, this would just go, okay, right here. We can just use this. Just go right through like that, and you're just gonna connect this to that, which connects to the heater exchanger in the bottom. So this is gonna go to that, which is gonna go to that. We'll show you when it goes on. Just measure this out. It's pretty straightforward. It's actually pretty easy to install. This top one goes to the top. This bottom one goes to the bottom. Now we just need to cut it. Where's the, can you pass me that right there? Get your hose cutter. You can just do a rough cut on here. It's not too, let's see, oh, it's nice. We just put this on like so. Get that in there as much as you can. So remember, that's right there. Let's see right here on this side. So I guess right around there would be a good cut. Look right there. Right here. Oh, it's a little flat. I need to go like this way.
So, slide it down there.
This one's right here.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
And then take this cap off right here.
Here. Put this on.
Put this on like there. Yeah, that flap's annoying. Also, if you guys want, you can take this flap out of the way on the bottom part, or get something to fill the void, because that was in place for the stock heater exchanger, but now it's just as you can see, it's annoying, and just fill stuff in. So now what you want to do is you want to tie in this right here, and tie in this right there, tie in that one right there in the middle, so there's no leakage. To make sure to check everything on. After that, we're going to fill this up with coolant, turn on the car, run through everything, make sure we have no leakage, and it should be the end of the install. All right, so you just right here you just put that back like so. Fish this line back in here. There's the washer fluid. So we're just gonna, oh my god, get it kind of started. Just push it all the way down. You good? All right, bet. So after that, you want to go right here. See, this is where the windshield wiper fluid used to be at. Just put it on like so. Just press it back in. All you do to take it out is you pull this down to get on, but bring it back on like so. Do this, take your clamp up here, release the pressure. Alright, so this is now an active line. You don't want to touch that. Put this back on this side, right here. There we go, like so. And technically now we have all the coolant stuff in, so we can take this off as well down here on the bottom. So you let the lines go loose right here. Let's hope there's no leaks. Once you do that, make sure to check everything, see if there's any leaks from this side, at the top, or whatever. And then come back up here. As you can see, our coolants went down. It's going to go down even lower once we actually start the car and get all the air bubbles, but you're going to want to make sure to bleed the system. And also check this right here. This also lets out air. So yeah, like that. And the coolant's going to go down even more. It's already going. So, oh yeah, I think it's going down. Right. Let's film this thing out. Oh shoot. But should be good. Spin this up. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is top that off with coolant, because as you can see, there's not much left. Oh yeah, there's no coolant in there. Alright. So as you can see, the coolant's going all the way down, so we haven't seen any leaks yet.
Going.
Dang, I think it's gone. So you want to... It's 50-50, right, Eric?
Yeah.
Alright, see.
Yeah, let me see how good your port game is.
Let's see, it's gonna be A1.
See if you got bars.
Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Ah, nothing but bars. Ah. Alright, then you pour your coolant like a G, like so. Alright, see it's up like so.
Ready to go.
Oh man, I actually might have put too much.
Not put a little too much. So
No, what you gotta do is, once we turn it on, it'll get sucked in, so.
Letting some air out.
Let's hope this shit doesn't leak. Got some air out right here.
Hopefully don't leak.
I think it's going.
Is it up there? Check.
Not yet. See, put it up. Yeah, but not yet.
You see it's going
also
down.
go
It
like
was at
this.
max. Going down. Filling it up.
Oh, it's not, because it's not. There's nothing up here on top. That's where it's supposed to. So what we want to do is have this open, so it's good. It squirts the coolant out, and then hopefully sometimes you might be able to catch it fast enough. Once you have it on there, that's good. Just tighten that down, then get a wrench, tighten it down a little more. What you want to do is you want to start the car and make sure all the air bubbles are really out. So, and you might want to like clean this up a little bit with some water.
Yeah, some coolant spilled.
Some coolant spilled, so just.
No.
But as you can see, right now it's on ramp, so it's probably around max. But we gotta turn on the car and find out. But even with all that saved coolant, we've pretty much used a whole gallon. So, and then we're probably gonna get some more out, 2 more air bubbles out while we turn on the car. So you recommend having at least 2 gallons of coolant, maybe 1.5 gallons if you're able to save it. If you're messy and you're not able to clamp the stuff down, probably 2 gallons of coolant I recommend to have. What we want to do here is again check for air bubbles. It's actually going down again. Next over here, Kevin. Down here too, you want to do is check for leaks. If any of this thing's leaking, you want to tighten it down or do whatever you need to do in order for it to come up. Also, keep an eye on the coolant level every once in a while. The light's gonna be off. So, as you can see, it doesn't look like it's too much leaking. I don't see any leaks at all actually. So, I think it might be solid. That's from when the coolant squirted up. But you just want to run the car for a few minutes and add coolant if necessary. Come back up here, Kevin. As you can see, the coolant level is going down. So you might have to add some more depending, but this should, if you drain all your coolant, this system should take about 2 gallons of coolant. This thing takes about a gallon and a half of coolant, just this thing. So you just want to wait it out a few minutes, add some more coolant, wait it out a few minutes, add some more coolant. But as you see, it's getting close to minimum. No.
A little more.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Keep it up. Alright, once you have everything connected back in place, after you're done draining out the coolant, driving around for a little bit, checking for leaks, and putting extra coolant, just put your bumper back on, a bunch of T25s and 1/4 inch screws, and that's pretty much it. That's all for today's install. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, feedback. Get you in the next video. It's going to be a crank pulley, so stay tuned for that.